Cossaboon, the Angel Encourager. So glad to be here with you tonight. Hello, thank you for joining me. Thank you. Hey, Glamour Seek, how you doing? Oh goodness, look at everybody joining me tonight. Oh my gosh, it's going crazy today. I love this. So I'm Pete. Hi, Glamour Seek, how you doing? You were just over on the blab, weren't you? How interesting. I love that. So I'm Pete Cossaboon. I'm the Angel Encourager. Tonight I want to talk about why you deserve love. How you doing, Amelia Sam? So the other messages that the archangels actually have for you. So hey, how you doing, Stephanie? Hi, Lindsay. How you doing tonight? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited. Marco Polo is coming into the house. So let's talk about why you deserve love. So love really is the only energy that's out there. Everything comes from love. Everything that surrounds us is love. Love is really the only vibration. Sometimes things don't appear as love, because we kind of take it from kind of a different aspect, and if you realize that everything is coming to love, everything is there for you to either enjoy or to call you forth, then you can really see how you can really come to life itself and everything around you from a state of really unconditional love, of not really judging things and thinking that things are tearing you down or making you less, or that you have something to blame in yourself or others. But if you can come from a space where you can come to things from an unconditional love and realize that things are either there for you to enjoy or to call you to be more, call you to be more, or to help you grow into a new experience, then you can really have a space of where you can just live joy in every moment in your life. And my catchphrase that I always tell people, I'm actually adding one more little thing to it. The first thing I want you to do is to get really focused about what it is that you want. And then I want you to step into joy, take inspired action, and walk in faith. So I actually just realized there's two F's in that one. That's fine, because I used to just be JAF, and now I have to think of a new thing because it's FJAF, which I'm not sure how that really works or anything like that. So I deal with the archangels, the angelic realm is what I deal with, and sometimes I get transition souls that will come in through to me. They have to really, really want to come through to me. I don't really tune into them quite so much. But what the angels really want you to know is they really want you to know your status, or where you are, or who you are to them. So us here in these human bags of flesh, we are actually spiritual beings that are having a human experience. And what we've done is we have decided in our own loving way to really kind of put ourselves into this somewhat limited human experience so that we can be on the leading edge of expansion. Every moment that we have, every now has never occurred before. This now has never occurred before. And this now has never occurred before. The universe is constantly expanding. That's what the physicists are even telling us now, is that the universe is constantly expanding. And we are actually expanding it simply through our existence, simply through our being. We're human beings, we're not human doings. And so just us being here. And so the angels want us to know that they just think that we absolutely rock. I don't know you at all, but you're really awesome. Oh, thank you so much, YCat. That's so amazing. I'm Pete Cossaboon. I'm the Angel Encourager. If you'd like to find out more about me, you can go to facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, or you can message me at theangelencourager@gmail.com. I would love for you to, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I would love for you to join my newsletter, which is free, comes out once a week on Sundays. I would also love for you to message me with any questions that you have or anything that I can help you with. I also just have a little bit of a new product page if you want to just kind of take a look at that, see what I might have. Thank you so much, Glamour Seek. You're so amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I always tell people I feel like the wealthiest, luckiest man in the whole world, that I get to work with awesome people like you. I get to work with the angels. I just feel so amazingly blessed in every moment of life. It's just fantastic. And even I'm learning how to step into joy and take inspired action and walk in faith. That's, I don't ever want anybody to think that I have necessarily arrived or anything like that. It's a journey for all of us. It's a period of growth for every single one of us, and it's been a really fast expansion for me. I'm a totally different creature than I was just a couple of years ago, but I always give thanks for everything that I've ever been through, because it's made me the person I am today. It's really brought me to this point of where I'm able to just express the great love, because I went through such a period of fear and doubt and worry and anxiety and depression. I was at the very brink of taking myself out there for a while, and it just, I always tell people, know that if you've ever known great despair, it gives you the capacity to know great joy. You know, the farther down in the depths that you've been, it kind of expands your bubble, and it means that the higher up that you can actually go into the realms of joy. So I mean, if you are right now, if you are in despair, if you're in depression, or if you're in a really, really bad space, I mean, number one, get excited, because the only way to go is up. You know, and one thing I always told myself, you know, when I was at that point of where I was literally going to go out into the garage and turn on my PT Cruiser and just, you know, drink some champagne or some wine that I had, and I was just going to take myself out. I thought, you know what? I thought, number one, I'm going to miss something really cool that's coming up. And the other thing I kept thinking was, you know, if it's so bad that you're willing to take yourself out, hey, Create Learning Center, how are you doing? If it's so bad that you're about ready to take it out, why don't you just go for it? Why, you know, if it's so bad that, I mean, because, you know, if it's really that scary, and if you're scared of really, do you, yes, I do, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. But, you know, I'm so grateful for having that experience, because, like I say, you know, having known that great despair, I also know the capacity for great joy. And once you really kind of get yourself into those realms of where you're just feeling almost that joy, you know, a lot of the times you create yourself a new set point, you know, where you really, you know, even if when you feel down, you don't feel as down as you did before. You realize that your set point is at a lot higher space. So I know there's somebody out there I'm speaking to right now that has like a great depression or great anxiety, and they're going through, you know, a real turbulent point of their life right now. And I want to just tell you, you know, if you feel like, you know, that it's just time for you to just kind of check out, why not say to yourself, what if I just went for it? What if you just went for it? Because what do you have to lose? If you're going to check out anyway, what if you just gave yourself 6 months to just do whatever made you happy, to do whatever inspired you, whatever that is? What if you just gave yourself a month? What if you just gave yourself a week? What if you just gave yourself 1 day to do everything? Just give yourself 1 day. If you were about to jump off the bridge, give yourself 1 day. Just give yourself 1 day to go eat ice cream and go pet a dog. Fly to France. Why not? If you're about to just check out of the world, go get that credit card and go do whatever it is. Go shopping. Go, I mean, I don't know, give $500 to somebody walking down the street. Just do it. Just give yourself a day if you're going to check out anyway. Just go have some fun. And then check back into yourself the next day and say, do I really still want to check out? And guess what? You probably won't. So I just want to kind of give you that challenge, because I just feel energetically that there's somebody out there right now I'm speaking to on that. And that's what I want to say. I want to just tell you that there's going to be another moment. There's something out there for you to see and for you to experience and for you to, you know, have joy in. Absolutely. There's something out there. And I want you to just give yourself 1 more day. But in that day, you need to promise me that you will spend that entire day doing things that you want to do. Just, I mean, because who cares if you're gonna piss off your family and your friends and everybody else by, you know, jumping off that bridge anyway? Don't worry about them. You know, and if you were supposed to do this and that and something else, and you're going to jump off a bridge, then all your responsibilities, who cares anyway? Just go have some fun, and then see how you are at the end of that. Because imagine a loving God that would have created this beautiful, this amazing world that we live in. I mean, think of the flora and the fauna and everything that surrounds us right now. How could that loving God not want us to enjoy those different things and have fun? And just imagine, I want you to imagine right now, I want you to imagine that you're the creator of all that is. And you've created these human beings, you've created these bodies that you're about to you know, fill with spirit, with something that runs it, you know, whatever that mechanism is. And just imagine that you want some kind of a way to communicate with that human being. Now, when you communicate with that human being, you're not going to want to have something else for them to see, because they already have so many things to see. You're not going to want to have anything else for them to hear, because they already have so many things to hear. You're not going to have anything else they want to smell, because they already have so many things to taste or even feel against their skin or anything like that. You want to give them another way of knowing your signs and your guidance without them, you know, having to use those other senses. And what could that possibly be? Perhaps it's your body, mind, spirit system. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you are in your parasympathetic system, and there's a difference between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. When you're in the sympathetic system, you're in that fight or flight stage when you're in doubt, worry, fear, anxiety, and you're just kind of like right here in your headspace. And when you're in the parasympathetic, you're very relaxed, you're very aligned, and that's when you actually have alignment with spirit or spiritual understanding or all that is. It's when you have true clarity. Now, I know for me, my signs are when my ego is trying to tell me things it doesn't like. It gives me pain right here. When spirit's telling me things, they're like, I get a little bit of pain in my stomach. And when spirit is really excited about something, I get shivers on my shoulders. So what I'm saying is that I believe that God has created these beautiful bodies that we're in with the feelings as our way of knowing whether we're having guidance or not. And what I'm trying to get back to is that the reason feelings feel good is because that's where you should go. And the reason that feelings feel bad is because that's the way that's not really to your highest being. So what I'm saying for you, to that dear one out there that's out there right now that's hanging on for something, when you're in joy, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling better, and I'll kind of explain what I mean by feeling good and feeling better and feeling joy, that means that you are on that guidance, you're on that alignment with all that is. Because if you were a merciful, beautiful, loving God, wouldn't you want your guidance to be when your children felt good? Wouldn't that be, don't you like it when your children feel good? I mean, I'm a father. I have a beautiful 25-year-old, and I love when my 25-year-old daughter is in joy. I love when she has fun. Well, just imagine if you were the creator of all that is. Wouldn't you be that to like the nth degree of wanting your creation, your children, or however you think of them, as having fun? Well, that's absolutely the way it works. So what I mean by being joyful, feeling good, feeling better, I look at it as like ledges on a cliff. If you're in depression, believe it or not, anger feels good. Anger actually feels good because anger gets you motivated, it gets you moving, it gets you back into a state of power, because depression is one of the most powerless feelings that you can absolutely have. But when you're in anger, you're in a state where you're ready to move, you're ready to get some things going. So that's another level up on the ledge. Now, everybody around you may not much like you in anger. They probably liked you better in depression, but that's their stuff. You let them own their stuff and you own your stuff. That's one of the basic tenets that I try to teach people is you own your stuff, you let them own their stuff. Now, when you know it's time to move out of anger is when it stops feeling good. And usually the next feeling out of anger is frustration. So frustration is usually the next level up. And believe it or not, from anger, frustration feels good. And then when frustration stops feeling so good, you can usually move up into a state of hope. And then from hope, you can get into those higher realms of happiness and joy and peace and tranquility. But each step of the way, you're actually going to be in a state of joy. You're going to be in a divine state of grace because you're actually feeling better than you were before. So that's all you have to do. I don't want people to think that they have to make this quantum leap from being deeply depressed and about to jump off a bridge to jumping up and down into complete joy. That's usually manic depressive, and it's usually not a good thing. It's kind of like thinking about like if your emotions were a train and your train's barreling down this way at 100 miles an hour. If you automatically flipped it going 180 degrees the other way, it wouldn't be great for the train, it wouldn't be great for the occupants. You want to kind of slow it down, and you want to easily turn it around and then hit it back the different way, and then go back that way. Sorry, I got a little bit of cough this morning or this evening. So that's what I mean by actually just stepping up those ledges of emotional. Somebody said emotional hierarchy, and I love that. And it's about not really judging yourself for where you are and judging what made you that way or who made you feel this way or what situation or whatever made you feel this way. Because when you think that your happiness and your joy is really up to something else or something external from yourself, that's the easiest path to unhappiness. That's the easiest path to feeling powerless. It's when you're in those moments when you're sitting, you're sitting in a chair all by yourself in a dark corner and you're thinking, if this person treated me differently, if this person would call me, if I had this much money in my checking account, if I lived in this kind of house, if I had that kind of a job, if I had this kind of a life, then I would be happy. How powerless is that? But when you realize that everything in this world is actually meaningless. God actually told Adam to name the plants and the animals. And what he really kind of meant by that is that Everything comes into this life in love, and everything is actually meaningless, and it's up to us to give things meaning. And what I mean by that is to spirit to God. An old rusted out Volkswagen is the same as a brand new Mercedes. It's us that gives it meaning. It's us that decides its value. And if that old rusty Volkswagen starts every morning and gets you to work, what kind of value is that? And it's all about a matter of perspective. Because if you really think about it, everybody that lives, especially in the Western Hemisphere, and I don't care who you are, I don't care how little money you have, I don't care if you live in the projects, anybody who lives in the Western Hemisphere at least has the access to better living than the kings and queens did 200 years ago. So just imagine if you lived 200 years ago, you'd be looking at these people living up in the castle, you'd be thinking, they're living the life. And meanwhile, they're wearing furs so that the fleas and the lice jump off of them. They're taking a bath probably every 6 months. They're eating a very limited amount of food. They probably have gout. They're going through all these things that, who knows what kind of diseases they're handling. They probably smell to the high heavens, and they don't have central heat and air. They don't have telephones or telegraphs. They don't have the internet. They don't have all the modern conveniences that are surrounding us right now that almost everybody that I know of has access to these things. Now, whether or not you take advantage of that is up to you. But what I'm just trying to say to you is it's really a point of perspective of where you are. It's a point of viewpoint of what you think of as abundance, what you think of as happiness, what you think of as peace, and what you think of as joy. So what I want you to be able to do is I want you to really step into a state where you can accept unconditional love, where you can just make the decision, because happiness is a decision, ladies and gentlemen. Happiness is a choice. Because everything that you think you require to be happy, there's somebody out there that has that is unhappy. Now, how can that be? If that particular job, or that amount in your bank account, or that particular mate, or living in this particular home, or whatever it is that you think you need to be happy, is true happiness, then why isn't everybody who has that happy? Because I've met these people. I have met these people that live on high rises on the beach and drive the incredible cars and do all these different things and are married to beautiful people. And some of them are not, and some of them are happy, but some of them are very unhappy. Some of them are afraid of losing those things. Some of them are in a state of almost panic and anxiety and depression all the time. So I want you to really get to the point of where you really understand it's all about a matter of perception. And I don't ever want anyone to stop, going forth to achieve and want more and to expect more and to bring more into your life, because we are all energetic beings. And energy, one thing about energy is always in movement. Energy is always changing. Energy is always becoming something new. So you should always be striving for that new best thing. You should be satisfied where you are and powerful where you are. But know that life is about expansion. And as you expand yourself, you expand the others around you. So I don't want you to be at a point where you're constantly trying to pull other people up against you. You're trying to reach down and pull people up. Because a really powerful point is you can't get sick enough to make someone healthy. You can't get depressed enough to make somebody happy. You can't get poor enough to make somebody wealthy. What you can do is be the shining example of happiness, joy, peace, and tranquility. And instead of reaching down to pull somebody up, you just put your hand down, and then they have to stretch up and grab your hand. And then, of course, you'll help them up. Of course you will. But as soon as you reach down, you see how you kind of get off balance and how easy it is to pull you off balance and pull you down off of that ledge of joy. And then what happens? Both of you are depressed. And then you're pissed at them for making you depressed. And then they're not happy with you joining them on the depressed train, because then you're just, double depressed, because, what's the old saying of misery loves company? And misery together just makes people even more miserable, so nobody's happy at that point. So the greatest thing that you can do is really just take care of yourself and step into the most joyful space that you can. And so many people have issues with that because they don't really have that self-worth or that self-value, that's where they should be. And also we so try to tell people, it's almost like you come from the space of I'm stronger than you and you're not capable of achieving happiness and I'm the one that has to help you have happiness. Well, you see how you strip the power from other people, and you see how that's really not coming from a loving space. Coming from a loving space means that you stand in your own joy, and of course you call people forth, but you don't call people forth by bending down and pulling them up. You call them forth by being where you are and helping them as they reach up to you. You cannot want more for someone else to change than they can. If somebody wants to lose weight, you can't want for them to lose weight more than they want to. If somebody wants to achieve wealth or abundance, and however they think of it, you can't want it more than they do. They have to want it at least as much or more than you do for them to be able to achieve it. Because we all live through the perception of our own self. And that's why actually I talk about how self-love is so important, because you experience your entire life through you. I mean, that's one thing you are married to. You will never perceive your life through somebody else. So you have to take the best care of you you possibly can. I want each and every single one of you to take extreme self-care. And what I mean by that, I mean in every moment, I want you to do everything you can that makes you feel good. Because you can't give out of a cup of things that you need until you're going to completely deplete that. And then what happens when we do that? That's so much what codependent caretakers do. And I used to be a codependent caretaker, so I know this. You give out of your cup of what you need to others. And then what happens is your cup gets depleted. And then you go to that person that you've been giving for this whole time and you say, okay, now it's time for you to give to me. But guess what? They're so used to you giving to them, they don't give you anything. Then you're depleted. And then you're pissed off. And then they're pissed off because you're not giving to them anymore. You have the t-shirt. I love that. So what you want to do is you want to give out of your overflow. And every single one of us has something in overflow, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's compassion, whether it's love, whether it's 5 minutes to sit there and talk to somebody, even somebody that might be a little bit hard to listen to, whatever it is, all of us have an abundance of something that we can give out to the world. And as you give out value out to the world freely, without really worrying about how it comes back to you, value will naturally come back to you. And it's not from a state of thinking that you're not worthy of the value or that there's no worth to your value. I want you to know the true worth of the value that you're giving out. I don't want you to discount, oh, well, all I did was just sat with this person for half an hour and talk to them. Or all I did was this. Or all I did was give them a sandwich or something like that. You don't ever know when you might have changed or saved a life. And it's really been great working with the archangels, because the archangels have started actually giving me not only an idea of the great changes that I've helped people through, but the ancillary aspects of it. In other words, it might have affected this person, and then they turned around and they were kinder to their children, and they were able to do more for their family or their loved one, or allowed them to do this or that, or impact somebody else at work. So you can see how there's these cumulative effects of what you do out there in the world, and how the value that you give out just comes out to the world tenfold. It's just like this building snowball of just like love and value and worth that just goes out to the world. And so it's just, like I say, I feel like the luckiest, wealthiest man in the entire world. So really getting back to pretty much the center point where I really kind of wanted to talk about is really what the angels think of us. So the angels, really believe that, know that we're on the leading edge of expansion, and they are just overwhelmed and just so they just think we rock, because they know that we have really extended ourselves into these somewhat limited human experiences from where we came from, which is from all that is, just in order to expand the world and help the world to become more. And that's what we have done. And so the angels are here. They are absolutely here to help us and guide us into our heart's desires, into what we want. Because the amazing way that we are built, these are not like storage facilities right here. These are focusing facilities. These are receiving facilities is what these are. These are cognitive facilities. So what I'm saying to you is that we are built so that whatever we focus upon, Spirit believes that's what we truly want. So many times when we call forth things that we don't want, what we're really actually doing in a way is we're creating an experience to where we learn to grow through it. I mean, each one of us knows somebody that has had 3 or 4 different relationships, and they were all the same awful relationship. And each one of us knows, somebody that's had, 5 or 6 or 10 jobs, and they've all been the same terrible job. And it's because their spirit is really kind of calling them forth to find a way to kind of move out of that space, to become the new person, in that. So they've lovingly called that forth to themselves in order to learn how to move through that experience. And I'm going through the same thing. So don't think I don't go through these experiences as well. I mean, I sometimes I go, my gosh, I just went through the same experience I went through before. This has got to be a learning experience for me that I really need to be called forth to. So first of all, what I really want to talk to you about is that, for us, we really want to focus on what it is that we really desire. What is it that we, if you can focus 51% of the time or more often on what it is that you actually want to have happen, rather than feeling guilt about what didn't happen or worry about what might happen, but actually start focusing on what it is that you would actually like to have happen, and start checking into yourself, start checking into your thoughts, and start thinking, what am I thinking about? Am I worried about something coming forward? Am I feeling guilt or shame for something that happened before? Or am I actually talking about what I would like to have come forth? Hi, Doc. How you doing? So it's about that, number one. And what happens is, as we focus on those things and we move into an expectation, oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. And we move into that expectation, the angels create the path before us that we want to go down. And as we step into the joy, that's how we know the guidance that takes us down that path towards our highest goal. And then we get to where we want to be, which actually there is no there, because we're always on a moving path. I do want to also say that you are always on the path. The path begins with you, so you're never off the path. I hear so many people say they think they've gotten off the path, but you are the path. The path begins with you. And I will say one more time, just to make sure everybody knows, you can connect with me at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, or theangelencourager@gmail.com. I would love for you to sign up for my newsletter. I would love for you to take a look at some of my different products if you're interested in that. I do all kinds of little things. I was told by my business coach, I'm just kind of supposed to shout out there, that there's a number of ways that I can work. If you're feeling the love and if you're feeling expansion just from here being on the scope, imagine what it would be like, perhaps in either being like in one of my closed webinars, or maybe working with me one-on-one. And that's just if it resonates with you. I am so proud for you to be here with me. This isn't all about oh, thank you, my darling. This isn't about me necessarily doing a sales call. I'm just giving out great value to you. But I'm supposed to shout that out there for my business coach. That's what she says. And just to kind of put it out there, right, my rates are going to double October the 1st, which really scares me to pieces. But that's what I'm being called forth to do. So that's what, and I'm definitely a person of inspiration. And that's how I've done all of my work, is when I feel inspired to do it. And that's what I want all of you to do. Like I say, number one, I want you to focus on what it is that you truly, truly want. Then I want you to step into joy. I want you to take inspired action. And I want you to walk in faith. Now, what is faith? Faith is knowing without seeing. Faith is knowing it's there, expecting it's there, and there's absolutely not a shred of evidence to show you it's there. And everybody that has achieved something great has been at that point. Has been at that point when they believed something. They believed something so strongly, and everybody told them it couldn't be. There was no way. But the Bible tells us that God makes a way out of no way. That's what he tells us. We are also told that if we ask for a piece of bread, our Father will not give us a scorpion or a serpent. So what I mean by that is, if you call forth what you want, that is what the angelic realm, that's what the heavenly realm wants for you. I also want to talk about how, God with his words spoke forth the universe, the stars and the planets and everything that exists. And we're told in Psalms that we are God's, which means that our words have power as well. What we call forth with our words. Be very mindful of the words that you use, and start looking at other people and start watching them, not from a judging point of view, but just from a very analytical point of view. What do these people speak out of their mouths, and what is their existence? And you can start really seeing a correlation between the two. You can see how people are living and how they speak. And how you speak really talks about how you believe, how you think, and how you feel about yourself in this world, and what you really expect for yourself and really what you really expect to happen for yourself. So I really want you to start becoming very mindful of the things that you say, and that's going to change the way that you think and the way that you feel. There's a number of ways of going at things. You know, we're a mind, body, spirit system. So it's so amazing. If you can't change a habit, going at it, say, from inside your mind, that's absolutely so much. That's the go, girl. You speak some truth, girls. That's what I'm talking about. But if you can't change your thoughts and your feelings in your mind, what you can do is you can actually start changing the words that come out of your mouth. And if you can't do that, you can start taking physical action. There's so many ways that you can go at, you're really kind of bringing yourself up. I think of life, off to do my truth of 10 scope. Oh, love, oh, thank you. Okay, oh, you're going to do it. Okay, everybody needs to go check out Monica Oganda. I'm sure she's going to do a great scope. I'm so excited for her. So anyway, I think of life as almost like this gauze or this mesh. And what I mean by that is if you take one part of that mesh and you pull it up, can you imagine how it pulls up the fabric of everything? And so what I'm saying to you is if you feel like you really kind of want to expand in life, and perhaps it's in relationships or something like that, I'm just picking one, but you feel stuck in that. Well, work on a different part of you. I know for me the physical is really easy, so I work out a lot, and that has really helped me to step up my game in so many other ways. So I want you to work on whatever part or aspect of life it is that you feel like you can really pull yourself up and call yourself forth with. And realize it's not just about doing it in any one way. It's about pulling yourself up and calling yourself forth in any area of your life. And it's going to make you see yourself as that new creature, as that new being, starting to expect more for yourself, believing more for yourself, and then calling yourself forward more in other ways. You know, we show the world how to treat us. We train the world. We train others how to treat us by how we treat us. So I want you to treat yourself like the most precious jewel in the entire world, because you know what? You're going to be living with you probably for the rest of your life. So you may want to kind of take good care of you. And that's what I want you to do. I want you all to take extreme self-care. So I'm going to kind of open up the floor right now. I've got my cards here. My cards love to tell stories to people, love to help people with things. I love to help people with things. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Would anybody like a little bit of a mini reading on something? Anything that I can help with? And while I'm waiting on that, I will just do a little bit of a promo. You can check up with me at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, or theangelencourager@gmail.com. I love to get messages from people. I would love if you signed up for my free newsletter. I absolutely get back with everybody that messages me on there. There's so many people that I've helped to, release energy and do different things. I've created some, great new products that I'm really excited about. Advice and close friend is negative who refutes anything you say to try and help for years. Well, Corinne, number one, you cannot, like I was saying before, you cannot get poor enough to make somebody wealthy. You cannot get sick enough to make somebody healthy. You cannot get depressed enough to make somebody happy. So what you can do is you can just be the most joyful creature that you can be and just kind of call them forth. And sometimes, people are in our lives for a day, a week, a month, a year, or for a lifetime. With my family, would like some insight, please. Absolutely, Glamour Seek. And so can you be a little more specific about that? I'll keep answering Corinne's question about that. Or Glamour, would you like a card reading on that? Is that what you'd like to do? Tell me, Glamour Seek, if you'd like to have a card reading on that. So Corinne, it's about you staying in that joyful space. And it's really up to you whether or not you're a friend with that person. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you, White Cat. I appreciate you so much coming in to the conversation. I really do. So Corinne, it's really up to you how much exposure you have with this friend. If you feel this friend is pulling you down and taking you into the negative, that's up to you whether or not you have that exposure to them. You may have to, you can just kind of lovingly say, oh, gotta go, kind of busy, whatever you have to do, because the higher you can keep into your rhythm, the more people that you're going to help. And you're not going to be able to reach down and pull them forward. They have to want it as much as you do. All you're going to do is get off kilter and have them just pull you off of your own vibration. And then you're both in that state of being depressed. And that's not fun. Both of you are just going to be mad at each other. Carnage is fine. Okay, Glenn, that's why I feel show my joy. But that's what you need to do. And it's up to you whether or not you feel like you don't want to be with that person anymore. Okay, so I'm working with Glamour Seek on family issues. Let's take a look and let's see here. And I appreciate you so much that you are allowing me to do this for you. This is absolutely a joy for me to do. Okay, this is on family issues for Glamour Seek. It's kind of a little bit of a general question, but that's okay. More money for me and threaten me if I ask about it, we'll lose nieces and nephews. Oh, okay. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Okay, well, interesting. So, your first card is the victory card. And what this is really, I think, saying for you, let me get a little bit more in tune. What this is really saying for you is this is your time that you have really been really kind of anxious about this. I mean, I get that. You've been really anxious and you've really been asking about this. So what they're telling me is that they have come forth and they are giving you guidance right now as far as what to do. I think you're in this stalled space between what you're expected to do and what the family has told you that you should do, what your assigned role is in the family, and what you know that your true guidance is telling you to do. Hi, how you doing, Gypsy in the City? So I really feel like you're in this, you feel like you're being pulled in these two parts. You kind of know what you're supposed to do, and yet at the same time you have these family pressures that are telling you, you know, what you're not supposed to do. So right now they're letting you know that you are in a space of victory because they have listened to you. They have heard, you know, what you're asking for, and they are calling you forth. So the next card that I think is really corollary to that is the All Is Well card. So the first thing what they want you to know is that you are being told right now that you are in the wrong. You're being made to feel like you've done something wrong, and you have absolutely not done anything wrong. But I don't want you to get into the space of being the victim either. I'm calling forth Archangel Raziel right now. Archangel Raziel, what he does is he helps us to move from the victim space into the victorious space. He helps us to take past things that have happened to us and learn how to turn them into lessons that can really help us and help others in the future. So what I'm really getting for you right now is really moving into this space of love, but really a space of almost a little bit of a hard love on this, because I feel like with this person, if they're not called forth, if the truth isn't said, that there are going to be far more people that they're going to do things like this to, including I'm seeing them doing things to their children. So I really want you to step forth, and I know that's a hard thing. You're really kind of being called forth to be this person that is going to be, and so many of us are in this space right now, we're really being called forth to be where the abuse ends. The abuse ends here. I'm really getting that this is not the first type of thing that this person this sister has done to you or the family system. I get the idea that this has been a modality for some reason. There was something that for some reason this sister has felt like she was always kind of the underdog, and people have always given her this space where she's allowed to pretty much get away with anything that she wants to get away with, because it's like, oh, well, you do remember she went through that. And I don't know what that was, but that is just a story. You know, she's still being called forth to be a full human being and to be in that space where she's really honoring other people's spaces, which is not what she's doing at this point. So they want you to know that you are not in a space of having done wrong, but I also don't want you to move into a victimhood space either. I want you to stand tall in your victoriousness, which was your first card. The next card for you is the prioritize card. What I really feel like they're telling you right now is they want you to focus on what it is that you want the outcome of this to be. Now, when I'm saying that, I don't want you to be worried about how you get there or who helps you get there or when it gets there. I want you to focus on what you want the outcome of this to be. Because I'm going to tell you right now is an amazing time to be mindful. And what do I mean by that? There are so few people out there in the world that are mindful that most people, when they walk into a room, they're just bouncing back and forth off the reactions of others. They're just reacting, with no idea, no direction. They're just kind of bouncing over here, bouncing over there, bouncing over here. But if you walk into a room with that clear-cut laser focus of this is the outcome that's going to happen by the time I leave this room, and there's no other option, I'm burning the bridges behind me, and this is what will happen, and you stand in the space of your truth, because there is such a thing as righteous anger, and that's not like human anger, but it's this righteous anger of this is the right way, and this is the way it will happen, and there is no other option, and you just stand in that space, and you stand in that clear-cut focus. And yeah, they'll probably call you a bitch, but you know what? Sometimes bitchs get get their way, and they get God's way, or they get heaven's best way. They call people forth. Sometimes love comes in the package of a bitch. I'm just going to say it, and I don't use that word very often. And here I even just am spelling it to you. The next word, the next card for you is the counselor card. So I so much get that through this experience, you are going to so you're going to be such a shining example of how to deal with this situation. I really feel that you're going to really be calling forth those nieces and those nephews. So what I want for you to do is I want you to stand in a space of where you know that you have done nothing wrong. And you telling your truth is the right thing to do. As much as it's up to you how much you tell. But I'm saying that your experience is your experience, and you have the right to express your experience. And if some people talk about their experiences, that's their experience. It's not your experience. Do not let their experience hinder or change your experience. Your experience is what it is. I want you to stand in your truth, and I want you to lovingly do what it is that you need to do. And you may not even have to say or do anything, but I want you to walk into that space. When I say that space, it can be a room, it can be the family, or whatever it is. I want you to walk into there with a very clear intention, very clear focus of what it is that you want to have happen. And I also want you to realize that, I think you're standing in a space where you're going to be helping by doing this, by standing in that space, by not letting people tell you, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. You need to start telling people, don't tell me what to do. And don't take away my experience, because this is my experience. It's up to you what you tell people has happened or not happened. I have a feeling that the entire family already knows what's happened. I have a feeling as long as you just stand in that space of where you are no longer allowing yourself to be in that victim mode, and you're just saying, well, this is the way it happened, and I'm not backing down from this. It's completely up to you how far you take it. But I think just standing in that space, you're going to be such a champion and such a valiant soul in that family without you really having to do anything else, but just standing in that true space of what your experience was and how you're not going to stand there and allow it to happen to anybody else. And you're certainly not going to toe the rope. You're not going to toe the line. You're not going to be one more victim for this person. That is not going to happen to you. And as far as you're concerned, you're going to stand up and you're going to be the valiant soul that makes sure, especially just by you not being the victim, that there will not be any other victims. And I don't really think you're going to have to do a whole lot. I think you're just going to go in there with that focus and tension, and I think you're just going to have to stand in that space of, I'm not a victim, and I know what you did, and what you did was wrong. I'm not going to judge you for it. I'm going to love you for it, but I'm going to love you in a hard way, and what I mean by that is you are no longer allowed to treat me that way, and you're no longer allowed to treat other people that way, because I really get for that sister that that's something that she has just kind of done for her entire life and plans on doing for the rest of her life until someone, possibly you, if you feel like you're courageous enough to stand in that space and do it. So does that help you, darling? Does that help you at all? And I want you to remain safe and well, and they're telling me that all is well for you. But I want you to stand in that space where you are not a victim, and you're really kind of being the vanguard for that family by being the one that acknowledges this is what happened, and I'm not going to see it any other way besides the truth. Because the truth will set you free, girl. I love it. So somebody else was asking a question. I kind of forget. Was there somebody else that wanted me to do a reading on something? So many times I get so focused on when they give me so many clear messages, it's hard for me to keep other things in mind. And I also tend to be a little bit of, oh, you're very welcome. And if you, honestly, if you would love to message me on Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, if I can help you in this situation anyway, I mean, I'm being totally honest. This is not just a sales pitch. If you want to contact me, and just ask me questions or whatever, I'm more than happy to help, help in any way that I can, message back and forth. And of course, I would love for everybody to sign up for my free newsletter. Comes out once a week, comes out on Sundays. It's on a different subject with a different archangel. And maybe take a look at my webinar series that I'm right in the middle of. This is the 7 webinar series on creating your personal paradise. This Thursday is number 4. It's on health. Next week will be on wealth and abundance. The next week's going to be on relationships and great sex, which has me kind of a little scared. And the next one's going to be on memory and clarity, and that's going to be the final wrap-up of it. Oh, cool. So definitely get with me if you have any other questions there on Facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. Sign up for my newsletter. I would love to hear from you. Love to hear what happens for you. Please give me any, if you'd like to have more clarity or just want to ask me a question, that's what I love to do it. So does anybody else have any other readings or anything like that, or anything I can help with? I think somebody else asked a question, and I sorry, I kind of forget what it was. I tend to be a little bit of an etch-a-sketch. I'm just going to say, because this is not a storage facility. This is a processing facility and a receiving facility. That's all this is. This is not a storage facility whatsoever. That's what Archangel Zadkiel is for. Archangel Zadkiel is the memory, and he helps us to tap into universal mindset where anything that's ever happened or happening or will happen is available for us to tap into. I don't mean to say that you don't need to study, because I think what actually studying does for you when you're in school, I think it creates the capacity for you to be able to receive the information, and that way it's almost like you're tuning into that information when you actually sit down for a test and you relax yourself and you say, I know what this is. What is my divine life purpose? Okay, was that what Super Kelly? What is my divine life purpose? Well, your divine life purpose is actually joy. Your divine life purpose is to focus on what it is that you desire, because there's a reason you desire it. The reason you desire it is because it's what you as a creator are calling forth, and for you to simply step into joy. Would you like me to do a card reading on that for you? Just kind of any kind of clarification? I don't mind. We'll see what comes up. Never can tell. I would love to do that for you. But did that answer your question? Because it's really, people think that they have this purpose of what it is, I mean, is it like, do you want to know more about career or relationships or, okay, all right, we'll see what we get, Super Kelly. I like that, Super Kelly. You are Super Kelly to me. I love that. So let's take a look and see what you get, okay? Absolutely, absolutely. So divine life purpose. Interesting, all right. Divine life purpose. This will be fun. Oh, you're very welcome, my darling. Thank you. Because I love doing this. Like I tell people, I feel like the luckiest, wealthiest man in the entire world, but I get to do this. So. Super Kelly. I like that. I'm really liking that. Because, our words have power. So I'm glad that you think of yourself as super. It's amazing. Okay. Let's see what we get here. I'm excited. Okay. The very first card for you is the Passion card. So it's so much about you finding out what your passion is. And it's really interesting. I don't know why, but I'm seeing like a pomegranate. I'm seeing something very red and fleshy, and I don't know if that means anything to you, but that's just what I'm seeing all of a sudden is like a passion fruit, or maybe that's where it's coming from. I'm not really sure, but I'd see like a pomegranate, like pulled open, and the seed pods inside. That's really interesting. I've never seen that before. So the first one is about you finding your passion, because that is, passion is divine inspiration. Passion and joy is our path to finding out, who we truly are and what we truly are here designed to do. So many of us really discount our own gifts, because when things come easy for us, we just kind of assume that it comes easy for everybody else. But that's actually your genius work. Each one of us has something that comes easy to us that we enjoy doing, that it, kind of like me with this. And so I have decided that this is my genius work. Not that this makes me a genius, but this is just when I tap into my higher genius. This is when I tap into, the capabilities that have been instilled in me. And so it's about finding that passion, that joy within yourself, the first off. And it's really interesting that I see the pomegranate. I would love to know if that resonates with you in any way. I'm not sure if it does or not. The next card for you is the Remember Who You Are card. And so what this is really saying is for you to realize that you are a caller forth. You are a creator. You're an expander of all that is. Let me see if I'm kind of getting a little bit of an inkling of something. Let's see if it keeps going forward like this. So it's about you really realizing who you are and what you're capable of, what is possible for you. You are a powerful creator. You're a powerful expander of all that is, as long as you can get that clear-cut, focused intention on what it is that you desire. The next card for you is the Beloved One card. What this is talking about is that right now, the perfect relationships are being set up for you for not only romantic relationships, but also business relationships and friendship relationships in your life. What they really want you to know is that you really need to do gut checks on people, not do resume checks and not do Google checks, but gut checks on whether or not does this person resonate with me or not. Do I feel good when I'm around this person? Does this person remind me of somebody that did something kind of bad or something I did not enjoy in the past? How do I feel around this person? Do I feel safe around this person? Would I give this person, I'm not sure about the pomegranate. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Isn't that interesting? Maybe it'll be, sometimes it's something that will come up in the future. So, I'm kind of fascinated by that myself. Interesting. So it may just be the passion fruit part. So, but anyway, this is about you really doing more of the gut checks on people that surround you, that come into your existence to know whether or not they are the right person for you at that time. And the last card for you is a Divine Order card, and it's just letting you know that you are the perfect place and you are the perfect space right now for where you should be. And I'm really getting something like a counselor or clergy or pastoral work or something like that is really coming forth for me. And I'm getting chills on my shoulders right now as I'm saying that. It's something about, and I don't even really know what I mean by clergy or pastoral. As I always tell people, I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I'm certainly church friendly, as long as they teach you to have, your own personal spiritual connection. And that may not necessarily mean that you're with any particular religious group or anything like that. But I'm really getting something about you really helping people to really have more of a spiritual connection in some way. Does that resonate with you? That's what the word clergy and the word pastoral and the word counselor really came forward for me. Does that resonate with you in any way? That's so what I see for you. And I know that I got shivers on my shoulders, which is my direct sign from Spirit that we're on. What does Sherlock Holmes say? Something like the mystery is afoot, or something like that. I'm not quite sure what what Sherlock would say to Watson. It was something like that. So let me know. Does it? Okay, awesome. Okay, and that's just the clear sign that I got from you right there, right there at that last card that I pulled was something like clergy or pastoral or counselor or something like that. And I don't know that that's really in like the what would you call it, the ordinary way of thinking that, but it's sort of that vibration or that feeling. It's something that you will be doing to really help people to connect, to really realize who they are and what's possible for them in a sort of some type of I don't know. Are you associated with any like organizations perhaps that help people to get over things in the past of some kind? I'm almost getting like sort of like a 12-step program or something like that, or is there something like that perhaps is there a clinic maybe that you're associated with, or people that have you been out and helped people that have had addiction problems or something like that? Is that at all resonating with you? It just seems like there's some type of space like that where you're really going to be not dealing with the mechanics of that, but more helping these people to really realize, what is possible in their life and what's capable in their life. It's just kind of what I see for you. Something in that kind of space or modality. So I don't know if that resonates with you or not. Does that help you at all, Super Kelly? I hope. You can let me know. While we're waiting, I would love for anybody to go to the facebook.com, The Angel Encourager. Get on my newsletter. Message me if you have any questions or anything like that. You can also get me at theangelencourager@gmail.com. I'd love for you to sign up for my newsletter, take a look at my products. My business coach says I'm supposed to call forth on October the 1st. I'm actually doubling my prices. So, no, but maybe in the future it could come true. Okay, well, interesting. It's just kind of what I see for you. So, I think I'll take one more person, and then it's probably time for me to head home and I'm ready to do a possible class of Beyond Addiction to help others. Okay. Cool. I love that. I think that's fantastic. Does anybody else have any? Take one more question or comment, perhaps a reading, and then Pete probably needs to go home and get some rest because we got to start. We get to do this again tomorrow, y'all. We get to do this again. Y'all excited? I know I am. Anybody else have any questions or comments or anything like that? Want a reading of any kind or anything I can help anybody with? All right. Well, if not, then I will say adieu for the night. I want you to know that there is so much love coming from me to you, and more so than even that. I say this every time, but it is so true. There is so much love that comes through me from the angels to you that y'all, I can't even express. And that's why I feel like the luckiest, wealthiest man in the world, because I get to feel that love that comes through me to you. And I want all of you to feel that embracing of love that comes from all that is, that comes from however you think of it, the heavenly realm, the spiritual realm, the angelic realm. It's coming to you and wrapping its arms around you, telling you that you are well, that you are loved, that you are perfect where you are right now, that you are always on your path. You're never off your path. I want you to step into joy. I want you to take inspired action. And I want you to walk in faith. And I want you to know that you are worthy of the very best of the very best. And I will say love, peace, and release.